Octopus by Robert Chantler.
What the hell do you think you're doing, Gerald?
I was relaxing until you stormed in. What's all this about?
You being an oik, that's what.
An oik?
Yes, and that will be nothing compared to what David will call you when he sees you. Abigail's DFC was not as well brought up as I was.
Oh, is this the press conference?
The headline is, "The Octopus Strikes Again."
Sounds like a Bond villain.
Yeah, it's you.
It's just the gutter press doing its usual shit story.
What the fuck? Told you.
Shut up.
Weeks away from an election, weeks away after the Chancellor gets the sack for touching his PA's tits, Abigail about to declare war on sexual harassment, and then you do this, you dozy prick.
I only patted her arse. I didn't stick it up her.
Patted? Your hand looks like you're milking her butter.
Just being friendly.
So, you'd be okay if after a cabinet meeting, Abigail casually fondled your cock as you were leaving the room?
Yes.
Well, you've just shit a bomb, and possibly cost us the election, and possibly cost you your job.
Calm down, David. It will all blow over. Just get our press machine onto something major, and no one will even remember it a week from now.
Oh, I hope so for your sake. I mean, you couldn't have patted one of our people on the bottom, could you? Oh, no, it had to be a bloody journalist.
Oh, she'll be all right. She's not the first journalist to get the Gerald Williams treatment.
Well, she could be the last. She doesn't even work for a paper that's sympathetic to the government.
Are we talking about Stephanie Bell?
Yes, she writes for The Guardian, and she's more left-wing than Jeremy Corbyn.
Whoops.
I have to go and meet with Abigail now, talk about damage limitation, and I suggest you start taking this a bit more seriously, Gerald.
Not funny, Gerald.
You know, before Abigail was Prime Minister, as I recall, you were rebuked for stroking her thigh at a party conference.
That was years ago. That was in the bloody 90s. She was a new MP, and I was just making her feel welcome. She's had nigh on 30 years to complain about that, and guess what? She's never complained. A woman knows when she's being touched in a gentlemanly way. It's flattering. It tells her what a beautiful body she has. So beautiful that a red-blooded man just has to touch it.
Emily's coming to take me off to some interview or other. 5 Live, I think.
Your PA?
Intern, actually. Emily's wonderful.
And my PA is some chap called Freddie. There's no justice. I wouldn't touch him up. It'd be like fondling a gorilla.
Well, I don't touch Emily up.
Arm round the shoulder, finger on the tits.
Our relationship is purely professional.
Well, I can't wait to make her acquaintance.
Ah, here she is.
Hello, Martin. Sorry I'm a bit late. Traffic was awful.
Oh, don't worry. Emily, this is Gerald Williams, Secretary of State for Domestic Affairs.
Yes, the Octopus.
Christ, even the bloody intern knows your nickname.
Haven't we met before? I'm sure I wouldn't forget someone as beautiful as you.
Party conference last month.
So, I hear you're attached to Martin.
Yes.
Would you like to be attached to me?
Gerald? My friend is a bit of a ladies' man, as you know. Do forgive him.
Well, I'll go and wait in the car.
Yes, I'll be along in a moment.
You lucky bastard.
Hmm?
She was the best thing about that conference. I must admit my memory of her is a bit vague. Anyway, if she's an intern, her parents must be well off.
Yes, well, I think she's funding it with her savings, actually. I don't think her parents are that well off.
Remember that girl you had, Michelle or something?
Michelle Chan.
That's right. She was game, wasn't she?
I spent most of my time keeping her away from George, and I did not have her. She merely temped in my office. Kindly loaned by the Foreign Office while Jenny was on maternity leave.
Yes, George. God rest his soul. George had a nickname too, didn't he? What was it?
Polly Filler.
That's right.
Why polyfiller? Did he shag a parrot?
Polly was his secretary, and he spent most weeks shagging her.
Polly was paid off by some fund or other, and with a bit of creative accounting, nobody was the wiser.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, Gerald, I assume you have read Abigail's brief on sexual harassment and her attitude towards it.
Well, I skimmed it.
Shall I get it out for you?
That's what I say to the ladies. Prime Minister, to what do we owe the pleasure?
Domestic Affairs is the department that has to push my sexual harassment purge. That means you, as Secretary of State for said department, will be needed to launch this at a press conference.
I assure you I have no truck with sexual harassment. You gorgeous creature.
I'm not laughing, Gerald. If you let me down, you're dead meat. Understand?
Absolutely, Prime Minister.
I haven't forgotten that you groped me at that conference in 1993. If I hear any dirt on you around this launch or afterwards, I will grope a different part of your body and squeeze very hard.
Yes, Prime Minister. Understood.
Press conference has been arranged for tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. I'm sure if David hasn't told you, he soon will.
Don't worry, Gerald. As head of the civil service and a loyal friend, I'll fight in your corner when everything goes horribly wrong.
Thank you.
Still here, gents? Do you do any work?
I resent that.
I passed Abigail in the corridor, so I assume you know about the press conference, Gerald. Downing Street, 9 a.m. sharp.
Yes?
So listen to me very carefully. The first rule is that you do not engage with Stephanie. The second rule is that you do not engage with Stephanie. If you break either of these rules, I will break you. Abigail's reluctant to get rid of you, but I can persuade her to do anything. And I assure you I'll put a pace-saving spin on your resignation, if you get my drift.
Yes, David.
If I could have everyone's attention, please. Secretary of State for Domestic Affairs, Gerald Williams.
Thank you, David. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a delight to have you all here as we launch our clampdown on sexual harassment within Westminster. When we return to power after the election, we will be flying the flag for an end to this sort of behaviour.
Fondled any journalists lately, Gerald?
Stephanie, you are aware, aren't you?
Would you answer my question?
Well,
Gerald has not fondled anyone, a journalist or otherwise. So let's move on with the announcement, shall we?
I'm sure Gerald can speak for himself.
of course.
Rule number 1, Gerald. Rule number 1.
Now, the Prime Minister has decided that it's time to clean up Parliament. Now, you're all aware of some of the allegations that have been made recently against ministers and MPs. I must stress that these are allegations, and most of them have been disputed by those named in those allegations. However, the Prime Minister believes that only by implementing a roots and branch change in the culture within Westminster will there be an end to behaviour that may be intended quite innocently but is misinterpreted. Many of the allegations go back decades when things that are now considered inappropriate were seen as okay. However, I can assure you that every single allegation will be treated with the utmost seriousness and investigated with the thoroughness each deserves. The drive will be called Absolute Zero, and my department is the one that is most suited to carrying out this mission to put an end to sexual harassment within Parliament. I thank the Prime Minister for giving the Department of Domestic Affairs the opportunity to be the driving force behind this change. I will now take questions. Thank you.
How can an inquiry on sexual harassment be credible when it's run by you, Gerald?
Well, my department is the one best placed to front the initiative.
Rule number 1, Gerald.
What's rule number 1, David?
Classified.
The hell it is. You asked him not to answer my questions, didn't you?
I couldn't possibly comment. Anyone with a question other than Stephanie? Right, well, thank you everyone. The statutory blueprint will be on our website by the end of the week.
Stephanie, isn't it?
Yes.
Can we talk?
Emily?
Not here. But yes, we can. And we need to. Why don't we meet on a lunch break? How about the coffee shop next to the tube station?
Westminster?
Yes.
OK, I'll be in touch.
Emily,
Best go. Be in touch.
don't talk to Stephanie. She's trouble. Bloody Stephanie.
Oh, stop going on about it.
What did I tell you about talking to Stephanie?
Come on, David, you're DFC. You know the more you evade a journalist, the more blood they smell.
Don't tell me my job, you groping slime ball.
Relax, David. Once the policy's out there, all the attention will be on the detail, and nobody will even remember the press conference.
Well, I hope you're right. And Charles, you make sure Gerald and everyone else toes the line, right?
Of course.
Come in.
Excuse me, Prime Minister.
Yes, Emily, isn't it?
Yes, Prime Minister.
Well, what can I do for you?
I don't really know how to tell you this, but it's just... I'm only thinking of your integrity and the new sexual harassment purge.
Come on, I don't have all day. Spill it.
Gerald raped me at the party conference last month.
Sorry? Did you say Gerald raped you at the party conference last month?
Yes, he told me not to say anything, but I just have to. I can't sit back while he fronts a sexual harassment purge.
Well, thank you for coming to me, Emily. I can't tell you how distressed I am to hear this.
I'm not making it up, I promise.
I know, dear. Don't worry. You were right to tell me.
Thank you.
You don't work with Gerald, do you?
No, with Martin.
I will speak to David at once and have him call Gerald in. Meanwhile, if you need some time out to compose yourself, then please take it. Martin doesn't need to know about this. He's rather pally with Gerald, and it's best he doesn't know.
Yes, well, perhaps just this afternoon, I think. Shall I tell Martin?
No, I will. And of course you have the afternoon off. And be assured, Emily, I will not take this allegation lightly, and I will keep you informed throughout.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
David, Abigail here. Come to my office right now.
Sorry, gents. The PM wants me. Says it's urgent, so I better go.
Of course, we'll finish the whiskey for you.
Bastards.
Who'd have thought I would ever be in charge of an inquiry into sexual harassment, eh?
Yes, well, they couldn't make it up. Even madder than her choice of foreign secretary.
Well, absolutely. Peter's pissed off half the world's leaders in the last year alone. I mean, Graham's in charge of the environment, and he's a fox-hunting industrialist with a share in a house-building company. It's like putting Bird and Matthews in charge of a turkey sanctuary.
How true! How true!
What's Abigail? Obviously keen to get started, eh?
Thanks for meeting me. I arranged to get the afternoon off.
Pleasure. Sounded like you had a scoop, and I don't mind dropping everything for you.
But not for Gerald.
He lives in hope. Anyway, what did you want to tell me?
I've just been to see the Prime Minister.
OK.
I told her I was raped by Gerald at the last party conference.
Oh my God.
She said she'd take the matter seriously.
She must.
Just keep it to yourself for now?
Are you serious? How can I? Why would I? He groped me several times, put his hand up my skirt, followed me up the stairs at the Guardian and upskirted me. He's a perv.
I suppose.
If you didn't want people to know, why did you come to me, of all journalists? Don't you want him to fall from grace?
Yes, I do. He destroyed my life, and I've just been waiting for the chance to destroy his. And it's all about the timing, isn't it?
Does Abigail know you've seen me?
No, that's why I wanted to wait till the wheels are set in motion. She won't be happy when she finds out I've gone to you.
Well, do you want to get fired?
This interning thing was only for a few months. To be honest, it was just a means to an end.
All right. Just promise me that as soon as Abigail suspends him or launches a probe, you'll tell me so I can break the story first.
The very minute.
He so deserves this.
Come in, Gerald.
Prime Minister.
Gerald.
David, what are you doing here?
The PM will tell you herself, Gerald.
Sit down, gentlemen. Now, Gerald, I'm afraid to have to tell you that a most serious situation has arisen. An allegation has been made that you committed rape on an individual at last month's party conference.
What? Rubbish. Who said this?
Well, I will inform you in due course, because you will need to know to give you a fair chance to present your defence. Suffice it to say, given your history and your drunken behaviour at the conference on the night the alleged rape happened, things are not looking good for you.
I see.
You really are a bloody idiot. On the day you announce you're fronting our sexual harassment purge, we receive an allegation such as this.
How can I possibly let you continue as Secretary of State, even though the election is only weeks away? If the press found out that, knowing what I know, I allowed you to stay in post fronting a major review of sexual harassment, the press would have a field day, and I do not intend to lose my seat or my party at the election, which is just weeks away.
Well, the press don't have to know. We can keep the matter internal. What about the principle of innocent until proven guilty?
You fondled me when I was a new MP. I haven't forgotten that. And you've been doing it ever since. Still all over the tabloids for your most recent indiscretion.
Yeah, flirting, not rape. I never raped anyone.
Can you remember the last night at the party conference?
That was weeks ago. I can't even remember what I did yesterday.
Are there people who were with you who can counter the prevailing view about your behaviour?
I don't remember who I was drinking with.
Oh, so you admit you were drinking then?
Well, I probably was. Propping up the bar at the conference is a tradition. If I can't remember who I was socialising with, how do you expect me to remember if I even had sex? Was it presumably a woman drunk?
I don't know, but it seems not. In any case, the public won't see that as a valid excuse, I'm afraid.
Oh, damn the public.
It will probably be a moot point anyway, because if this gets out, the fact you hold a marginal seat will almost certainly mean you'll lose your seat. And every lost seat in this election risks us being a coalition next time, which is why I am doubly cross that you have done this.
Well, David's the DC. It's his job to keep it out the papers.
Well, I can only do my best, Gerald. Things like this leak out like the piss from my grand's bladder. If it gets out, I can try to limit the damage, but yes, I agree totally that it would be a disaster for all concerned if it got out.
The only people who know are the complainant, you, me and Gerald, so it had better stay that way. Obviously Martin will have to know as head of the civil service. I can't see any reason why this complainant would go to the papers. She said her disclosure was well-intentioned and she had hitherto given absolute loyal service.
Well,
in light of the allegation, I must suspend you, I'm afraid, with immediate effect. The civil servants under Martin will continue drafting Absolute Zero, or whatever it's called. I won't tell anyone you have been suspended, but if the press found out, I will have to. Even then, someone is sure to ask why I did not make the suspension public, and to be brutally honest, I don't owe you anything. I really am, even doing this, really risking a lot for you, and I hope you appreciate that.
yes, Prime Minister.
Go home and stay there until after the election. A liaison office will be appointed to keep you in the loop, and you will certainly be here before the Standards Committee if there's any proof of rape. The matter will also be referred to the Crown Prosecution Service.
How do I tell Claire? God's sake.
That's your problem, Gerald. Given how public your various misdemeanours have been over your long career in government, I would be very surprised if she was remotely shocked.
I am so sorry for causing you such trouble, Prime Minister, but I know I will be vindicated.
Let us hope so, and let us hope this will be your final spur to change your licentious ways, whatever the outcome.
Good morning, Emily. Sorry to hear you were unwell yesterday. I trust you feel better today.
Yes, thank you. Why is there just a large indent in the leather where Gerald usually lounges?
Yes, well, Gerald has had to take some leave for personal reasons.
I see.
Anyway, don't you worry about him.
I need to talk to you, Martin. It's about my internship.
We will pay you eventually.
No, it's not that. I'm afraid that after the election, I won't be able to continue in this role. Let's just say my plans have changed.
I see. Well, your talents will certainly be missed, and I'm most distressed to hear this, but that's the thing with interning like this, isn't it? No contract, no remuneration. May I know what your plans are?
Not just now, but you will find out when the time is right.
As Gerald would say, you little tease.
Stephanie, it's Emily. Gerald's on leave, so it looks like the PM suspended him.
How the hell did the Guardian get hold of this? It'll be everywhere by tea time. Social media's buzzing already, and you're my DFC, and I expect you to do something.
When I find out who leaked this, I'll disembowel them.
Well, the suspect list is short. Me, you, Gerald and Emily. Oh, and Martin. And now you'll have to tell the press I suspended Gerald yesterday, and we'll have to explain the delay.
1 day, hardly excessive.
1 day too many. It still appears that we were trying to protect Gerald.
Well, I fired the starting gun on the inquiry. Don't worry. I'll merely say that the delay in the announcement was an administrative problem, coupled with the fact that it happened late yesterday and we're going to brief the media today.
It happened yesterday lunchtime.
Ah, but the press don't know that.
Gerald, are you aware that someone has leaked to the press that you have been suspended over this rape allegation?
No, I haven't been reading the papers or following the news. Oh, this is bad, isn't it?
Very bad. You will now almost certainly lose your seat, which makes the party more vulnerable post-election. Your reputation is now damaged beyond repair, and we've had to explain why we did not announce what happened before the press found out. And guess which paper broke the story?
Oh, who cares? Tabloid?
No, Gerald, The Guardian.
Well, our voters don't read The Guardian.
But it's everywhere now, Gerald. Left-wing press, right-wing press, neutral press. Social media's buzzing. You're trending on Facebook, Twitter, for God's sake.
This is prejudicing my appearance before the committee.
No, Gerald, the committee will be assessing only the facts, nothing else. And as the hearing is imminent, you will need to know who the allegation was made by.
Stephanie.
Emily.
Emily? Martin's intern?
Yes.
I never touched her at the conference. We might have had a few drinks, I suppose, but I've never raped her.
Well, I suggest you make sure your story stands, Gerald, because her account is lucid. And if it stands up to questioning and yours doesn't...
Oh, this is so bad. This is so bad.
I warned you. Your colleagues have warned you again and again. Sorry, Gerald, you're on your own. Hearing is at 12:20 on Monday, Committee Room 22.
Gerald knows I accused him.
Well, he had to know before the proceedings started so he could mount his defence.
Yes, I know, but...
He won't touch you. He can't. Don't let him intimidate you. Tell the truth and everything will be fine.
You know, despite our friendship, we really shouldn't be seen together. I mean, Emily's my intern and you're my colleague.
Nobody would recognise either of us. We're miles away from our constituencies.
All right, mate, grope the barmaid yet?
You were saying?
Help me remember what happened that night. The last night of the conference. I genuinely can't remember.
Well, we were staying overnight and going home on the Thursday, so we could get to have a few drinks. And Emma was definitely in the bar with us, I'm sure. But the details, well...
You know, Emily, you really do have the greatest legs I've ever seen. Feel free to wrap them round my neck at your leisure.
Gerald, that is not appropriate.
I wouldn't touch you with a barge pole. You're a sexist dinosaur. In fact, I'd rather shag Kim Jong-un than you. Got it?
That told you.
You're just saying that. Come on, come to my room and I'll give you the full Gerald treatment.
No.
Come on, give us a...
No, I said no, Gerald. Now fuck off.
All right, Emily, all right. Stay with me. He's so drunk he doesn't know what he's doing.
Thank you, Martin. I'm staying with you tonight, OK? I sleep with you, yes?
I will take you to your own room because I am the perfect gentleman. Oh, security, a little help over here.
I fell off my bar stool.
Yes.
Did I really say that too?
Yes, you did. And you groped her and cuddled her, and I took her to the room, and I don't remember what happened next. I know I woke up in my room.
So unless I went to her room later and she let me in, there's no way I could have had sex with her.
On the face of it, no.
Oh, good. Well, no wonder why she was a bit awkward with me the other day.
You also said one or two other things about Abigail as well, but as they got some laughter from those nearby, I expect they kept quiet.
I think she would have had a word by now if I'd been grassed up. I don't remember saying anything about Abigail.
Well, you were drunk.
What did I say?
I forget, but it was just stuff like you thought she was a bossy cow, etc., etc.
Well, I didn't mean it. Can't believe 25 years has passed since we had our little fondle.
Since you had a little fondle, I don't think it went both ways.
Up before the Standards Committee on Monday.
Good luck.
I'll be recording the whole thing on my little voice recorder. I have an idea that I might need it.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sir Peter Headley, and I will be chairing this meeting. I must stress that at present the allegation is simply that. The matter has not been passed to the CPS. At stake today is the reputation and political future of Gerald Williams. Nothing less. I can assure you Gerald will not be taking into account previous incidents nor your reputation when deciding on this case. We will be hearing from Emily Ferris, an intern who has been working with Martin's guidance, mainly within the Foreign Office, who alleges that on the last night of the party conference held at Brighton last month, Gerald raped her whilst very drunk. In details supplied to me, she has not denied that she was also drunk, but made it clear that she did not welcome advances from Gerald. Gerald, please state what you recall of that evening to the committee. We will then hear from Emily.
Sorry, old chap.
This might get reported to the police now.
Well, you weren't very helpful recalling what happened, were you?
How could Emily be that clear about what happened?
I'll be off.
Gerald,
Well, we're not supposed to be.
I won't stay. I just wanted to tell you that I'm delighted that you finally got your comeuppance. It doesn't matter whether you raped me or not. You won't be doing it to anyone else.
Are you saying you lied?
I said I couldn't recall 100%, but I was very sure.
I can't remember what happened, Emily, but I'm sure I never raped you. You went off to your room with Martin.
Yes, and you came banging on my door at 3 a.m, forced your way in and had your wicked way. Well, that's what I told them anyway.
So you did lie?
Do you remember a lady called Katie Ferris?
Oh yes, gorgeous. We had this fling about 15 years ago. How is she?
She's my mum. She died last year of cancer. Before she died, we were talking, and she told me absolutely categorically what you did to her. Do you remember now? All kept quiet, wasn't it, in those days? You didn't rape me at the party conference, but you raped my mum all those years ago, and she isn't alive to see justice done. But now it has been. Hope you find a new career, because your days as an MP are over.
She consented.
You were drunk. She didn't drink. She said no, but you still fucked her. And then came out the NDA and the payout. Scum. That's what you are. Scum.
You go back in there and tell Sir Peter I didn't rape you.
No.
You lied under oath.
Prove it.
I can. I recorded this. You lied under oath to a Commons committee and you falsely accused me of rape. Your internship is over, and if anyone's going to jail, it's you.
I don't care. And I don't care about my internship. It was just a means to an end, Gerald. A means to an end. You'll probably end up as a CEO of victim support or something. Wankers like you always come up smelling of roses when you land in the shit pile. Goodbye.
Yeah, good job I recorded the whole thing on my little... Shit. It's not on. Fucking battery's flat. For fuck's sake!
This morning the country wakes to a change of government. The results for the Conservatives were disastrous. Even Abigail Harris, the Prime Minister, lost her seat as the country sent a message loud and clear that they wanted change. Other heavyweights who lost their seats and their jobs are Gerald Williams, the Secretary of State for Domestic Affairs, James Webster, the Defence Secretary, and Bethany Roberts, the Environment Secretary. The new Prime Minister will attend the Queen at Buckingham Palace today to be given the job of forming the next government.
In Octopus by Robert Chantler, you heard Edward Adams as Gerald, Robert Hardy as Martin, Rob Day as Charles, Geoff Meddleton as David, Olwen Holme as Abigail, Syra Kingsley as Emily, Philippa Stuart as Stephanie, and Robert Chantler as the newsreader. Octopus was produced and directed by Robert Chantler and was a Free Theatre Company production.